A shocking twist in the courtroom left Diddy visibly rattled. The attorney hadn't been given the slightest chance to prepare for the footage that was about to change everything. The room fell into complete silence as the prosecution spoke, and the judge barely had time to register the words before Diddy's face turned pale. The legal team leaned in, whispering frantically among themselves, but it was too late to contain the damage. The instant the prosecution revealed they possessed video evidence involving a teenage Justin Bieber, the entire atmosphere in the courtroom shifted. Tension thickened and every eye locked on Diddy.
We're going to get started with something that Diddy and his lawyers knew was coming down the pike eventually, and now it has happened. A new indictment, it's called a superseding indictment. It really replaces the original one that the federal prosecutors have filed against him. And the big headline here is that now they are saying there are two more victims.
This wasn't just another lawsuit or another allegation. This was something entirely different. For the first time, the man who had built an empire on confidence power and the illusion of being untouchable looked truly afraid.
Sean Diddy Combs reportedly underwent treatment in a hospital as he continues to await trial on sex trafficking charges. According to Page 6, the 55-year-old was transported from Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, a federal prison where he was sent following his September arrest late January 30th to undergo an MRI and was then soon returned to police custody later that night.
Let's take a step back, because to grasp just how devastating this moment was, you need to understand the tangled web of chaos that led here. Sean Diddy Combs, once hailed as the king of hip-hop, is now battling to protect his legacy, his freedom, and the remains of his empire. With multiple lawsuits piling up and federal charges looming, the empire he built on power and influence is starting to crack.
In the meantime, let's talk about the fact that Combs' co-defendant in a civil case, a case, by the way, that accuses him and his co-defendant, another A-lister, of rape. This guy is once again slamming the attorney behind the case, insisting that he be sanctioned for allegedly not doing his job. We're talking, of course, about Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z, once again calling out attorney Tony Busby, calling out his character, more specifically into question, claiming that the Texas attorney's filings have, quote, substantial inaccuracies, and that there was a failure to properly investigate before filing. Now, we've talked about this before, but basically, a civil lawsuit was filed against Sean Combs on behalf of Jane Doe, who says that she was raped by Combs and another celebrity at a home after the Video Music Awards in 2000. She said she was just 13 years old when this happened. And weeks after the initial filing, Busby submitted an amended complaint naming Jay-Z as the celebrity who allegedly participated in this assault.
Whispers have begun to swirl about a lifestyle so dark and predatory that even Diddy's closest allies are cutting ties faster than ever before. And at the center of this growing storm, shockingly, is Justin Bieber.
Anyways, I want to also just show you this montage. This is a montage that was shared by Eerie magazine, and they do great work on their TikTok, of Justin Bieber, again, just 15 years old, in Hollywood, surrounded by a bunch of adults. And you let me know if any of this registers to you as normal. Take a listen.
Wow! I feel violated right now. Wow.
Lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
How old are you?
I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks.
I don't ever remember smelling that good at 16. That was fun. Wow, look at your eyes. Look at what a beautiful place. All right.
For years, people had speculated about Diddy's unusual hold over the young pop star. But after Diddy's arrest in September, fans began connecting the dots. Why was Bieber constantly around him as a kid? Why did Diddy describe their time together as some kind of secret rite of passage? Then an old clip from 2009 resurfaced and reignited the conversation. In the footage, Diddy can be seen grinning at the camera, boasting about spending 48 hours with a 15-year-old Justin Bieber. "What we're doing, we can't really disclose," says, smirking. Beside him, a teenage Bieber nervously plays along, adding, "Let's just go get some girls."
Justin Bieber turned 15, and it suddenly seemed that Hollywood was keen to almost initiate him. I think that's the right word. Like, there was almost like this initiation that he needed to go through. So I want you to be now super uncomfortable and watch this video of an interaction between him and none other than Diddy. Take a listen.
Justin, he's in UFC for 48 hours. Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the time of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher. I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
Going crazy.
At the time, it seemed like nothing more than a strange interaction between a powerful music mogul and his young protege. But after the explosive allegations against Diddy came to light, that old clip began to take on a far darker, more unsettling meaning.
So young Justin Bieber, who was signed by Usher, involved with Scooter Braun, now all of a sudden he's being put in the hands of Diddy, who, it is true, he became the legal guardian for Usher. You can look up all of the allegations of what Diddy did to Usher. A lot of this coming out via multiple lawsuits that essentially, if we were to put it in a nice context, or at least use a euphemism for something that's really disgusting, the allegations are essentially that Diddy very much initiated Usher into Hollywood. And as we are going through these lawsuits and Diddy is in prison, we are recognizing that everybody knew this was an open secret about what Diddy was doing. So it just begs the question, who allowed Justin Bieber to be in the presence of this man, knowing what he was up to? Allegedly up to. That seems to be very clear, that there is some veracity to those claims.
And then the unthinkable happened inside the courtroom. The prosecution's attorney presented a video, evidence so powerful that Diddy's legal team jumped to their feet in immediate objection. It was already too late. The judge overruled them and allowed the footage to be shown.
The defense wanted copies of these videos handed over to them, not just the ability to view them at the prosecution's office. They wanted copies of these videos for themselves. And I've talked to lawyers about this before. There's a big advantage to having the electronic video, the electronic evidence yourself, right? You don't have to always go over to the other office. You can view the materials on your own. It's a way to better prepare for your defense. And Sean Combs' lawyers argue that under the federal rules of criminal procedure, if the defendant asks for it, the government has to give a defendant the opportunity to inspect and to copy electronic data that is in the government's possession. Judge Subramanian denied the defense's motion to amend the protective order, but without prejudice, meaning this issue could be revisited. So Subramanian's order reads, quote, while the government objects to handing the videos over, they provide several options for a defendant to consider that would permit the defense to view the videos, access the information they're looking for, and even allow them to manipulate the videos as they see fit.
For years, Bieber has carefully avoided questions about his early career, his mentors, and the powerful figures who influenced his rise to fame. But ever since Diddy's legal troubles began, Bieber's actions have spoken louder than words. Subtle, deliberate moves that suggest he's been trying to distance himself from that part of his past.
Justin Bieber's got more on his mind than Diddy's arrest. A source telling ET the new dad's energy is going towards wife Haley and son Jack. And he's not focused on what is going on with Diddy or the allegations against him.
Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs.
The insider info coming after footage of Diddy and Justin resurfaced on social media. Videos show the disgraced media mogul alongside teenage Justin, with online sleuths speculating if, at the time, he subjected the pop star to his alleged freak-off.
First, he unfollowed Usher. A seemingly small move, but one that didn't go unnoticed, especially since Usher was the person who first introduced him to Diddy. Then came the bigger shock. Bieber parted ways with Scooter Braun, his longtime manager, and the man who was once seen as his greatest protector in the industry.
Okay. Justin was signed when he was just 13 years old, and I should mention he was signed by Usher to a label that was owned jointly by both Scooter Braun and Usher, and he was considered Usher's protege. He has been described Usher as his mentor. Justin Bieber, is continuing the purge. He has now moved to unfollow Usher, okay, his original mentor. So this is a very big story, and the reason why we should discuss this and we should not diminish what is happening, it's not celebrity drama. This is actually the fall of Babylon that we are witnessing, Hollywood Babylon, that is.
On Saturday, January 4th, fans noticed that Justin and controversial manager Scooter Braun stopped following each other. It was then confirmed that Justin blocked Scooter because Justin's name was removed from any tagged photos, and Scooter's likes on Justin's photos were gone along with the tags. Mind you, Scooter had just liked Justin's photo a week before this. Justin wasn't the only one who blocked Scooter. Haley wanted in on the fun too, and fans noticed she also blocked Scooter.
Then came the resurfaced interviews. Bieber opening up about the struggles of growing up in Hollywood, the people who let him down, and the trauma he's still trying to heal from. And that one viral moment, the interview where a visibly emotional Bieber spoke about wanting to protect young stars like Billie Eilish from the darker side of the industry, suddenly hit much differently in light of everything that's come out.
He did an interview back in 2020 with Zane Lowe. I think this was on Apple Music. And he was speaking about another young artist that was coming up, Billie Eilish, and Eilish. And he was basically speaking about how he wanted to protect her because she was now another young person, a rising artist in the industry. And sort of out of nowhere, he became quite overcome with emotion. Take a listen.
Did you feel protective of her? Yeah, I definitely feel protective of her. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on me in a second. So yeah, it's hard because I want her to know that, she can count on me, but at the end of the day, I'm never going to force myself to be in a relationship with her. It has to be natural, right? So I just kind of, let her do her thing, and if she ever needs me, I'm going to be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters, and
I'm not even kidding. Watching that clip makes me emotional because he is saying so much without really saying anything. Protect Billie Eilish from what? From who? What is he so concerned about when he sees this young person in the industry? What exactly did he go through?
Well, fans began connecting the dots, and so did the prosecution. Diddy's legal downfall started with a single accusation. An aspiring musician identified as John Doe alleged that Diddy had drugged and assaulted him at an after-party in 2015. But that, as it turned out, was only the beginning.
And while disgraced movie mogul Sean Diddy Combs has been slammed with another lawsuit. An unnamed person has accused the music mogul of drugging and assaulting him. As per a lawsuit which was filed in New York, the incident allegedly took place in 2015. Prosecutors and the lawyer representing the alleged victims in the case have been behind a substantial number of suits brought against Combs over the past year, including one that named Jay-Z as an additional defendant. The new lawsuit says that in 2015, the unnamed male person had approached Combs with the aspirations of becoming a rapper and singer. The 23-year-old was scheduled to open for a popular music artist at a series of Los Angeles nightclubs. Prior to his performance, he was informed that Combs would be in attendance, and should the performance go well, Combs would consider signing him to Bad Boy Records. The lawsuit further stated that later that night he attended an after party where there were other well-known entertainers who were taking in drugs. One of Combs' associates handed him a drink which he later realized was drugged. The unnamed person has further claimed that during his unconscious state, Diddy Combs had engaged in unconsented sexual activities. Meanwhile, in a statement provided to media, Combs' attorneys say, and I'm quoting here, "As we've said before, Mr. Combs cannot respond to every new publicity stunt, even in response to claims that are facially ridiculous."